From about January 588 BC till July 587, Jerusalem was surrounded by the Babylonian army of King Nebuchadnezzar II. As the siege continued, starvation and disease began to claim lives. According to the Book of Lamentations, mothers even cooked their own children for food. People knew that the fall of a city always resulted in murder, rape, pillage, arson, and slavery. Their only hope was in the troops who manned the walls, fighting off attacks, shooting arrows into the besieging troops. Before the war, Jeremiah warned that it was a mistake to revolt against Babylon, which had earlier conquered the country and installed Zedekiah as ruler. Even after war began, Jeremiah did not keep quiet. He continued to issue his Jeremiads against King Zedekiah, his advisors, and his policies. In a country at war, in a city under siege, that is treason. Jeremiah's predictions of defeat were demoralizing the troops. So, he was dumped into a muddy well. This would mean his death, but no one would be directly responsible for spilling his blood. So far, this is a story that could happen, and has happened, in many countries. Even in times of peace, authorities do not take kindly to attacks upon their policies. When it becomes apparent that their policies are disastrous, they're even more inclined to silence naysayers. Zedekiah and his princes have disciples all over the world. But the story takes a strange turn. Ebed-melech goes to the king and says, "These men have been at fault in all they have done to the prophet Jeremiah. He will die of famine on the spot, for there is no more food in the city." King Zedekiah relents and tells Ebed-melech to set Jeremiah free. Did the king figure that since everyone was starving anyway, it made no difference where Jeremiah did his starving? Did he feel that since all was lost and everyone knew it, whatever Jeremiah said or did could not really affect the already demoralized defenders? We don't know. I think it had something to do with his recognition that Jeremiah was indeed a prophet, one who spoke for God. Perhaps the king realized that those who speak for God will say what we do not wish to hear. God's word will always be treasonous to the ways of the world. In the gospel, Jesus declares himself to be like Jeremiah, a bearer of what seems to be bad news. Do you think that I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. People in Jerusalem did not relish Jeremiah's pronouncements. Neither do we relish hearing Jesus saying that our families and society will be torn apart by dissension. The Jerusalemites wanted independence and food. We want peace and harmony. God seems to give what we do not want, and then expects us to call it good news. Do you know the answer to the question, how do you train a mule? First, you take a large plank and hit the animal over the head to get its attention. We are mulish, too self-contented, too dense, and too self-absorbed to see that what God offers us goes far beyond anything that we are willing to settle for. Jeremiah and Jesus are saying, never mind what you think important. It will not last. In fact, it must not last so that you can receive what will last, God's eternal love. Sometimes we need to feel a plank over the head to get the message. What we think of as reality, the day-to-day world in which we sin, harm ourselves and others, regret but do little else about pain and injustice, forget God and eternity, this so-called reality is falsehood. True reality is found in the will of God, a will that calls for love received and shared, love that transcends time. It's a reality that we will only, it seems, turn to when we've been hit with a plank. So Jeremiah in his day, and Jesus in his, which is ours, say that our dreams must be shattered against the reality of God's love. It will hurt. It will hurt as much as slavery or strife, but it shall free us from the delusion that this world offers what we really need. God offers what we really need, and shall do whatever is painfully necessary to smash anything that makes us willing to settle for less.